So, you want to own your own home, but you're one of the over 80% of Americans with less than perfect credit. You don't have enough money saved for a down payment, or your debt-to-income ratios are so high that the only person who will lend you money is your mother, and she still wants a cosigner. I know that sounds funny, but these are just a few of the reasons why tens of millions of Americans are still renting, instead of owning their own home. And the worst part is, most of them have convinced themselves they will never be able to own a home, or they're waiting on a miracle, instead of doing anything about it. So, why should you do whatever it takes to own your own home? Well, I'm glad you asked, because here's the facts. According to a 2021 report provided by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the average homeowner in the U.S. has a net worth of approximately $200,000, while the average renter only has a net worth of around $5,000. This statistic alone should have you wanting to buy a house immediately, so you can start building equity for yourself instead of your landlord. Think about it. Every rent payment you make pays for a house or building owned by someone else. They get to benefit from the cash flow, equity, and tax deductions. And what do you get? Exactly. You get a roof over your head for another month and nothing else to show for it. This is why MWR Financial created our cash flow system, combined with our Keys to Home Ownership program. Imagine having everything you need to increase your cash flow and income, so you can increase your buying power and save the money you need for a down payment. Or, how about having a team of financial experts who will get your credit scores back into the best shape possible, while lowering your existing bills and your debt-to-income ratios, all at the same time? Sounds amazing, right? Well, it is, but that's not all, because our team of affordable housing experts will even help you locate and purchase your new home for you now, regardless of your past credit history or your current credit scores. Yeah, you heard me right. Our experts will help you determine how much of a home you can qualify for. They will assist you with locating the home that meets your needs, buy it for you, and allow you to rent to own or lease with the option to buy, while our cash flow experts help you get your finances back into the best position possible to qualify for conventional financing. And if conventional financing ends up not being an option for you, your affordable housing expert will owner finance the property for you. In other words, we can structure the option that works best for you, and becoming a homeowner no longer has to be just a dream. It can actually become a reality. With that said, if you're tired of building equity for someone else and you're ready to own your own home, get back to the person that shared this information with you, and let us help you get on the right path towards home ownership once and for all.
Old, broke. Well, that's not good. Seriously though, this is where millions and millions of people are headed if something doesn't change now. And that's why we created the Private Reserve Account, a simple way for mainstream Americans to secure their retirement, protect their loved ones, and fund their dreams along the way. Here's how it works. Imagine creating your own banking alternative. And not just some ordinary bank, but the ultimate bank. Think about that for a minute. If it's your bank, what benefits would you give yourself? It would be a bank where your savings account actually grows by being linked to stock market gains, so you can benefit from those big rallies. And as your money grows, the gains are locked in, so no more of those scary drops. That's a win-win. You'd be able to access the growing value of your account anytime you want for any reason you have. No taxes, no qualifications, no questions asked. After all, it's your money. Oh, did we mention no taxes? And since it is your bank, you'd be earning the interest on the money you borrow from yourself while you pay yourself back. What? Let's keep going. You would have no early withdrawal penalties, unlimited contributions, and a college planning fund with no restrictions. When properly structured, your bank could pay off your mortgage in half the time, could provide living benefits for critical and terminal illness, and if something ever happened to you, your ultimate bank would be transferable to your heirs tax-free. Seems impossible, right? Nope. You just didn't know that the wealthy have been doing this for years. Now you're wondering, so why doesn't everyone open a private reserve account? Exactly. The real question is, why don't you? Contact your financial representative today to set up your private reserve account and help put a stop to America's retirement crisis. We're with you all the way.
Well, all right, here we go again. Grand evening, East Coast, West Coast, and everywhere in between. Welcome to the MWR Financial Make Wealth Real University. My name is Darrell R. Banks, two-star executive director and founding member with MWR Financial, and your host of this weekly corporate event, where you get to hear from the experts and invited professionals to give you the education you need to succeed to get on the other side of money. Listen, this information you get ready to receive tonight is information you do not want to miss. Take this time to get those last minute phone calls, get those last minute texting. You want your team and your members in on this information tonight, because I tell you what, we're not getting this information anywhere else. And this gives you an opportunity to get involved in a real estate platform that will change the trajectory of your family for years to come. Again, take a few moments to get your members on, because we want them to see the true value of this exclusive invitation-only membership from the ultimate cash flow company, MWR Financial. So go ahead on and get those last-minute calls, get those last-minute texts out, and get them in on this information. Also, please be sure to get yourself registered and be there for the Las Vegas 2023 Celebration of Champions MWR Financial National Convention. Guys, listen, this is going to be amazing. We're going to be at the Hard Rock Hotel located in Las Vegas on August 12th and 13th. So you want to go ahead and get yourself registered. Go to makewealthrealevents.com, makewealthrealevents.com. Get yourself registered and be in the place where we're going to see the champions of this excellent, fantastic company on stage, ready to show you exactly how they got there and where you can take yourself to the next level. So again, all guests at any point in time, let's go ahead on and get yourself promoted, get yourself on the stage to see who we have out there on the line, who's out there, so we can say hello to you. Let's see here. We got Atlanta, Georgia in the house. Welcome. We got Tampa, Florida. Welcome. We got Virginia. Welcome. Hickory, North Carolina, welcome. South Carolina, welcome. Atlanta, Georgia, again, welcome. Hinesville, Georgia, welcome. Goldsboro, North Carolina, welcome. Oklahoma, welcome. Gary, Indiana, welcome. Tallahassee, Florida, welcome. Roanoke, Virginia, welcome. Orlando, Florida, welcome. Columbia, South Carolina, welcome. Folks, people are chiming in from all over the country, all over. Miami, Florida, welcome. New York, welcome. Let's see, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, welcome. Somerville, South Carolina, welcome. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, welcome. Compton, California, welcome. Guys, hey, listen, I tell you what, we are excited. Again, make those last minute calls, last minute texts. Let's go ahead on and get to the man at the hour of this time. This gentleman I'm about to bring on brings a decade of success in the financial services industry. A licensed financial consultant and the expert in the area of investments and the lead consultant of our MWR Multiply Cash Flow division. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the live, Mr. Cord Burner. Mr. Burner, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me, my friend?
Man, we can see you. We are looking forward to this information. The live is yours.
Thank you much. As always for the introduction, man, you kill it every single week. And my friends, today we're going to have one of my favorite, not even one of my favorite conversations. This is my favorite conversation. It's a conversation about land banking. And the reason why it's my favorite conversation is because, when interviewing people that have had, 10 figures in income or, from a wealth perspective, right? Millionaires, people that have amassed amazing amount of wealth. When you talk to them about land banking, it's almost as if it's second nature. I mean, it's something that they understand. They've been doing for a very long time. It's something that they teach their children as well. And then I reflect back on my own childhood. I'm like, man, why do I not know any of these things? It's because proximity matters, information matters. And I know that's why you're here today, because you want to be surrounded around like-minded people. You want to be surrounded by people that are driven to not only give you good information, but what does it look like, or what does it take to get to the other side of money? Now, land banking, I'm going to be frank with you, is not for everybody. But I do know that there's lots of people out there that have what we call an unbalanced portfolio. Right? When you think about, having money inside of a 401k or money out in the market, they talk about diversity, but when you look at the returns or your investments, when the markets are good or bad, it's like, don't they kind of all go up and down at the same time? Doesn't that bother you a little bit? They talk about how, own this company and it's going to be different than this other company. You look at your statement and they're all down or they're all up at the same time. Well, we want to talk about how to properly diversify your portfolio. That does include tangible assets. Maybe you need to think about gold or silver, but today we're talking about land, hard tangible assets that you can own inside of your retirement accounts, which most people don't know about. You don't only have to invest in the stock market. And land is something that not only does my family personally invest in, but it's something to where I often recommend that if you got too much money in the market, let's talk about something that can bring stability. It is an absolute game changer, my friends. So when we think about land banking, right, you can see here on the front slideshow that it's for true asset diversification. And I love this quote by Mr. Will Rogers: "Don't wait to buy land and wait." You want to get there before everybody else is there. That's where the opportunity is, right? It's not after you've got all these this town that's fully developed. It's typically before the people get there. Now you want to do this with a targeted strategy. You want to have rhymes and reasons, and you want to know the data, and that's what I'm here to share with you today. And land banking, it's very simple, and that's why I love this. It's buying land before it's needed for development, then holding it for about 7 to 10 years and selling it for more than you bought it for. Very simple, right? It's how do you make money in anything? You buy low and you sell high. It's not like you have to read a rule book about, what can I do or not do in this sector. Have you ever tried to read a prospectus, which is effectively a rule book for a mutual fund company? It's crazy. If you want something that'll put you to sleep at night, some nighttime material, go ahead and read that stuff. But that's why simplistic, what do they say? The acronym: keep it simple, stupid, KISS. That's what we want to do today. And major companies and investors have been building wealth this way for centuries. You can do it with as little as $40,000 or more in a cash or a retirement account. And that makes it accessible, because land banking, the reason why most people don't understand it or know about it is because it's like, well, I don't have $500,000. I don't have $1 million at my disposal to go and buy a plot of land in a strategic position. But here we can do this and be titled and deeded, have ownership in that parcel that's located right in the path of growth. It's not on these outliers. It's not like we're talking about swampland nowhere. This is a targeted area. And specifically, it's in this 60-mile radius of a good small area called Los Angeles, right? Jokingly, there's over 20 million people here. This comprises 50% of Californians' total population. By the way, this is the 15th largest economy in the world, and second in U.S., next to New York, of course. And they're expecting 2 million more people within the next 10 years. We've got a lot of people having babies, and it's where they're going to live that matters, right? Where are they being attracted to? And to put this in perspective, my friends, there's more people living in the LA basin than the states of Oregon, Nevada, Arizona, Idaho, Utah, Montana, Wyoming, and New Mexico combined, right? There's an abundance of people. Now, the challenge is, my friends, where are they going to move to and where are they going to live? Because the average home price in this area is $700,000. And for, growing families, that's just simply out of the reach for a lot of those individuals, right? It takes a lot of money to purchase those homes today, especially with where rates are. Did you guys notice that they just had a 0.25% increase on rates, right? So it's only getting more difficult. So naturally, if the pricing isn't where it needs to be for these growing families, where do we go? We go to places like Palmdale. We go to Lancaster. That's the trajectory or the natural growth path. Now, it's not going to be in these rolling hills, of course, right? Because it's not really typically affordable. And this area, my friends, is not only been developed, but we're going to talk about businesses that are currently there, that have already taken root, that are waiting for this development, the mass of flow of people to come in. Well, you've got this amazing company called what? Kaiser Permanente. You've seen this before. They are in the healthcare space. And if you're an architect, you're drooling right now because this building is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? And I like to point out a couple of features about this building. And when you look at this picture here, notice the waves, right? This is glass, by the way, and it's got this rolling pattern. Now, that's designed to refract natural energy to light up the facility. They've also got machines on the top of this place that's there to harness natural energy. Now, why is that critical? Because if you're using natural resources to power a facility, that means you can redirect those dollars into being innovative. And the more innovative you are, the more attractive you become as a company, right? So you've got all these highly specialized individuals in the healthcare space that are being drawn to these areas. You've also got a courthouse that recently they finished the second version of this, by the way. So they got 2 facilities out there that they spent $234 million per facility to be able to service just the natural population that's coming in. Not only do you have that, but you've got Walmart that currently has 5 super centers in this area. Has anybody ever seen a Walmart fail? I mean, I haven't seen a Walmart fail, and I've been on this earth for 35 plus years, right? Not plus years, 35 years. They have a model and they do it well. They know exactly who they're going to serve. They know the model that they're going to, impact and the people that they're going to impact. And when we look at their model, each individual super center is designed to service 250,000 neighboring residents. So they have 5. Do the math. They know that there's growth that's happening in this area. You've also got, other well-recognized brands here. You've got Petco, Best Buy, Target, TJ Maxx. You've got a mall here, Red Lobster, right? You've got all these companies, these well-recognized brands that are currently here because they know when you get there first that the pricing is a lot less than if you get there last. If the city's already developed and you're buying on, developed land, it becomes very expensive. And they tend to spend multiple millions of dollars to make sure that their model is in a place where they can, make some money. You've also got this gentleman here. I mean, he doesn't need an introduction, but I guess I got to give it to him anyways. This is Warren Buffett. He is widely recognized as one of the most astute investors in the entire world. And he's investing in this area currently. He's got $2.5 billion in a solar project, as well as $230 million in a 10% stake in a company called BYD. That is Build Your Dreams. They are an electric bus manufacturing system because the one goal that this town has, is the city and the surrounding areas, is they want to be the green energy capital of the world. So they're really pushing innovation. They're really pushing, utilizing natural resources. As well as we've got the Kaiser High Desert Regional Healthcare Center. They were recently awarded the LEED Platinum certification, which is effectively something that they've shared. They shared technologies with all these other major corporations. So it's, again, designed to harness natural energy to power facilities to where they can continue to be at the forefront of innovation. You've also got the Palmdale Transit Village Center, which this, as I'm thinking from a business owner's perspective, is mind-blowing. And for my developers out there, you're gonna understand this. So let's put our business cap on for a minute. Let's say you're a real estate developer, and you've got this plan, right? You've went through all the architecture, you got the blueprints, you went to the local municipalities, and you got the go ahead, right? The thumbs up to publish it, to start to market the project, and when you market it, it's sold out within 72 hours before you've even broken ground, right? So you got this giant project. You put it on the market, it sells out 72 hours later. Are you beyond excited? Are you probably going to duplicate that again and probably create a phase 2? Absolutely, because the need is there. And they did a phase 2 of this that was sold out within 24 hours, right? So there's a need and a desire to have homes that aren't built in the 1900s. Right, that's one of the biggest problems is in that area, in the LA basin. You've got homes again worth $700,000 that were built in the 1900s that are dilapidated. They're broken down. Some of them don't even have air conditioning. How do I know that? I've got a very dear friend that lives in that area, and it's like, well, Cord, they don't need air conditioning because the environment's great all the time. The weather's amazing until it isn't. I promise. There are hot days in California, and try being there in California without an AC on one of those days, and you'll pray for an AC the next day. But my point is that it's attractive to have a brand new home that hasn't been lived in for years on years, as well as, from a technology perspective, that it has all the wirings and it's a little bit more modern in the way that it looks. Now they've also got the LA Palmdale Regional Airport that was awarded national flights. So for those of you guys that fly into California and hate flying into LAX, I would puke right now if I could, because flying into LAX is one of the worst airports on the planet, in my opinion. It's just convoluted, right? It's congested. There's a ton of people. If you're trying to get from one place to the next, it takes hours and hours and hours. Now you can fly into the Palmdale Regional Airport. You can be more strategic in the way that you get around California, and you can save yourself a lot of times, right? A lot of time. You've also got the high-speed rail system. This is really, as I was thinking about this from a parcel owner, this was really intriguing to me. And for my friends that are online that have been outside the country, maybe in European countries or Asian countries, you know that our transit system is as close to the Stone Age as possible. Like, think about, Europe and again, Asia. They've had these bullet trains for a very, very, very long time. Why? Because they're efficient. They can move population. They can create transition very quickly. These things are very, very fast. And now they've not only broken ground, but they have a 230-mile route with a stop that's planned in Palmdale. So the area, it's going to be a major hub that's going to connect directly into where? Las Vegas, the City of Lights. We talked about how we're going to have our event in Vegas. Why? Because it's an attractive place. If you've ever been to Vegas, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's fun to stay. Hopefully you don't stay too long, right? Because sometimes you can't make it out, but it's an incredible place to visit. They've got a line that goes directly from Vegas to Palmdale. So there's two states that are highly incentivized to continue to continue to push this along. But even setting that aside, you've got Richard Branson that in 2019 partnered with Brightline. By the way, who is Richard Branson? He's recognized as Mr. Midas because everything he touches turns to gold. He's very good at making projects work well. Virgin Galactic, Virgin Air, Virgin Mobile. Those are some of his small companies, right? So the guy's got some credibility. So this is something to where he's putting his own money, time, and effort into this. I cannot wait to see this materialize. They've already got a 185-mile route that they secured. We'll continue to see this develop as it goes. Northrop, we've got a lot of different aerospace industries directly in this area. So they've got 100 long-range bombers that they're building over the next decade. So that's 6,000 plus new aerospace jobs. And if you're building planes, do you have to have some specialized skills? Absolutely. What do specialized skills bring? Specialized income. And the higher the income, right, the more development that tends to be there. It's kind of like one of my favorite movies. You guys remember The Field of Dreams? Gosh, I love that. What does he talk about? If you build it, they will come. What does that mean? If you have the opportunity, people are going to be attracted like magnets. Right? That's really where this fits well. You've got NASA, you got the Air Force, you got the Navy. All of these, major aerospace industries, they're designing these weapon systems. They all have significant facilities here as well. And it's kind of neat. There's a place that you can pull over off the side of the road and you can watch these gigantic Harriers come in and out of of these aerospace zones. And I'll tell you what, if you've ever thought of, what's a giant carrier look like, do times 10, and that's how big they are. It's just amazing watching all of this happen. And you can see some absolutely amazing things develop there. You've also got KB Homes. They're the newest build. They call them Zero House 3.0. And it's designed to achieve both net zero energy status. For my friends that have solar panels, they're amazing, aren't they? Right? We just got solar panels put on our new property, and I love it. But what I don't love about it is it's an eyesore. It's like they're not aesthetically pleasing, right? It's not like anybody says, "Hey, look at those sexy solar panels." But what's happening is they've developed these homes with what we call photovoltaic roofing panels. They're aesthetically pleasing. They look like regular tiles, and then they soak up the energy, and you get the savings. Each home is estimated to save $4,452, so $4,452 in energy and water savings annually. That's roughly, right, just shy of $400 a month, which they can now do what with? They can now, fund their retirement, fund their private reserve accounts, use that money to save up to be a land purchaser, right? To start to build their dreams with money, to pay down debts, to make sure that their credit gets to where it needs to be, right? You now got a cash building system just purely based on savings. That's what I love about this. You've also got a purple pipe water reclamation system, right? That's a mouthful, but very simply, it's designed to repurpose water that's running through, the taps and the showers, et cetera. And they use that to water lawns. They use it to, for toilet water. They're incredibly efficient. Their goal is to, again, be a net zero energy status. So they've got 180,000 of these units that have been built between 2014 and 2021. Now, of course, these numbers need to be updated, but that's closer to 2023. COVID did slow down the process quite a bit, but these homes are gorgeous. Google them. You can take virtual tours. They're absolutely incredible. Now, guys, we've talked about some compelling data, and I want to pull you back in. And we're going to talk about, what does this all mean, right? We've got a third-party study that was done in excess of 9,000 properties bought and sold over a 17-year period. So just kind of think of this with me. I want you guys to think about what's happened over 17 years. We had 2008, right? We had the dot-com bubble. We had 9/11. We had COVID, to where the country it's shut down for 24 months straight. And even with, all this data, let's talk about or all that happened, which, by the way, 2008, which was one of the worst times to be an investor, especially if you had real estate. You felt it in the markets equally. But even all of that considered, the average property annual appreciation rate over that 17-year study was 24%. That's double digits. Most people in their investments are trying to get what? 7 to 8. That's the gold standard. 24% over that 17-year study. The average hold period was 3.7 years. Now, I want to be very clear that our expectations for people that choose to be land participants is a 7 to a 10-year hold. And it's not going to fit for a lot of people because this is what we call, an illiquid asset, right? It's kind of like, you buy a house or a rental property. And, it's not like you can liquidate it in a time of need. So we got to make sure that the resources are there, that it is an optimal choice for, money, for your portfolio, for what you're wanting to accomplish long-term. But let's talk about all the opportunities here, right? This is an incredible opportunity for those that have spent the last 3 years, 10 years recovering from market losses. Maybe you're tired of going through the roller coaster of the ups and downs and you want some stability. Now, land, it's not immune to the laws of economics, but it does tend to weather the storms a little bit better because it's tangible. It doesn't just sprout legs and walk away from you. Have you ever felt like, you look at your 401k statement and it's like, I swear I had money in there, right? It was 50,000 a week ago. Why is it 40,000? Right? That's the nature of the market. So make sure that you're playing according to the ups and downs. That's why you have to have some stability to the ups and downs. Wanting an investment that you can understand, it's very simple. Maybe we talked about recovering from a stock market loss. You're needing peace of mind about retirement. You're worried about how your estate will be distributed. I don't know about you, but I've got a couple of brothers that when my parents pass, I'm worried that, that. Have you ever heard the analogy burning a hole in the pocket? It's like they spend money as fast as it comes to them. They have no saving strategy at all. I mean, that's really what my parents are worried about. That's why this fit well for them, is that when they pass, they have land that is going to accumulate. It's hopefully going to satiate them, or I guess satisfy them, or keep them from blowing the money very quickly. It's a great way to preserve the estate as you pass on from a legacy perspective. And maybe you're just holding $40,000 or more in a qualified account, or money in the bank, or something or money that's in a retirement account. We started this conversation off talking about how you can own real estate inside of your retirement accounts. People have been doing this for a very long time. Now, I want you to think of your IRA or your 401k, your tax-deferred or tax-free vehicle, right, as a house. And you can own many things inside of a house, can't you? Right? You can have furniture. You can have a fridge. You can have a sink. You could throw a boat in there if you wanted to. It's not convenient, but you can do that. That's very similar to your retirement accounts. When done correctly, you can own different assets inside of your retirement accounts, whether it be gold, whether it be, all these different types of opportunities. That's why we're very centered on, do you have the right amount of tangibility paired with your market investments? How do you know if you do? Give us a call. We'll go through that. And many times we say, hey, this probably isn't a good decision for you right now, land. But, there's lots of other things that you can do. That's why we specialize in multiple areas, private reserve accounts, 401ks, IRAs, real estate. That's why we want to be that person in your corner, helping you think through not only today, but what's the future going to hold? The economy is changing rapidly. I mean, just as me, being a kid versus where we are today, I remember, I grew up on a farm, so we were a little bit dated in how quickly that we got things together, if you understand what I'm saying. I grew up with black and white TV, right? So there was color television, but, I spent a lot of time watching Johnny Cash. Bob Hope is a comedian, right? I just remember seeing how quickly when I left there, going to the city, just how different things are. We've got virtual reality. We have assets like Bitcoin. We have NFTs, non-fungible tokens. We've got, people that are buying up real estate in virtual worlds, right? Virtual reality. So you got to have somebody that's at the forefront. What our parents did for retirement may not be what you're going to do moving forward. Right, we're going to help you get the results that you want. And when we think about, have you guys ever said, if I had known then what I know now, life would be very different today? And then I want to pair that with, if you thought something to be true and ultimately it wasn't, how soon would you want to know? Right? How soon would you want to know that maybe what you're doing today is not what you want to be doing further on down the road? Or if you've got a mistake that you catch it on the front end versus the back end, being proactive versus reactive. Aren't the most challenging times in life when you're reactive, right? You get in some type of fight with your spouse and you're reactive. And it's like, gosh, that thing just spirals. And then you got to tuck your tail between your legs and, you come back together and apologize. But if you're active, right, there's not much to apologize for because you've thought 10 steps ahead. That's really where we want to be with you guys today. And I know I've left you with a couple of things today, but I got to leave with my my favorite quote. And we talk about it, nearly every week, that you're born in this world looking like what? Your parents. Well, what happens when we leave? We die looking like our decisions, don't we? So let's be decisive. That's why we love being in your guys' corner. And we'll see you guys out in Vegas. Can't wait to reconnect with you. And with that being said, Mr. Darrell, I'm going to hand back the reins to you and appreciate your guys' time and attention. Thank you.
Wow, Mr. Byrne, I'll tell you what, again, it always takes me to saying that this information changes the game for someone that is in the real estate space. As I heard you mention, even someone that is, a person who builds properties, understanding how this can change someone's portfolio, adding this to the portfolio is just incredible. So we want to thank you so much for your expertise, bringing us to the table, knowing that through MWR, the ultimate cash flow company, you too have a chance to take a piece of real estate. Because as we know, God's not building any more land. So definitely get your piece and be sure to set up your consultations as soon as you're possible to be sure that you qualify for this particular opportunity. With that being said, we want to see you all on next Thursday on this platform, 8:30 p.m. Also, be sure to get registered at Make Wealth Real Events for our national convention. And we are going to say good night. Thank you so much. Take care.